Good morning there. It is Thursday, February 1st. Hard to believe. I'm back home again, of course. I've been home for a little while now, for over a week or so, and been reviewing the recordings I did on the road, and my attitude is mixed. I think some are pretty decent, and some are, I'm not sure I want to keep them, and I've been going through that, and this has been on my mind for a couple of days lately, and I thought I'd share this part with you, because I'm sharing a lot of things that I go through on this new podcast with you, and I think I should share this too. And that is, I've gone back to some of the ones when it was a little darker on the trip, when I was really struggling with anxiety and depression and loneliness and stuff. And I have to admit, I listen to those as I go through them, and I'm embarrassed. I feel like I'm just whining about minor things, and it gets to me, and I'm like going, okay, well, I can just eliminate those and not post those. And that's the easy way to do this. But then I thought, that's not right. That's not right. This was me at that time. I don't. Have you ever just, one day you're just talking about how horrible things are, and can't believe this person did this to you, or I can't get past this, anxiety thought. I can't get my mind around it. I can't change my attitude. It's the worst thing ever. La-di-dee, la-di-da. And a day later, you think back to when you were that way, and you start to have this reaction of, oh my God, what an idiot. That's how I feel about some of these episodes. And yet they were real at the time, and it's a real thing many of us go through. I call them limitations, I call them symptoms, I call them neurological effects or damage or whatever you want to call it. But I have factors in my life that make it harder for me to process stress and anxiety and stuff like that than some other people. Part of it's coming off the benzodiazepines and long-term neurological effects of that, which can be significant. Part of it is my ADHD. Part of it is all kinds of things. And again, I'm not labeling myself, because these are just things I have, not things that own me. Not letting those things own you is important, but they are things that affect my daily life, and I need to understand them, and I need to accept them if I'm going to learn to live a better life with them, or finding ways to alleviate them or alleviate their effects on my life. But still, there's that part of me that says, oh, but I don't want to share that. I don't want to share that. Man, I just sound like a whiny little kid. And it's like, get over yourself. I mean, I'm talking about a road trip where I'm safe. I'm in a car. I have food. I'm just taking longer to get home, but I'm lonely and I want to be home, and I'm whining and whining and whining. But that's part of me. That is part of me. And so I decided to keep them in. And I'm talking about episodes, if you go back, you can look at them, you can listen to them. Episode 6, I think, like 8 and 9. There was one on relationships and depression, one on a sleepless night that I think I spent in Baton Rouge, and a restless night where I was ruminating all night long. And even an emotional release, I think that was around episode 11. And it was that series it's basically the road trip heading home after I left Orlando, and all the weather kept me from getting home for some time, and where I was in that process. But I need to be okay being embarrassed on this podcast. I need to be okay, and people may call me out. People may, cancel me, or whatever the word is. People may, troll me. I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time on social media, so I'm not great at that stuff. But I've had people saying negative things about me in the past. I've been a podcaster now for over 5 years, so it comes with the territory. But I gotta be myself, and I still believe sharing those times is what some of you, not all of you, but some of you may connect with. That may be the episode that somebody says, I had a night just like that. You get it. You understand. And maybe as we move forward, we can process that. We can figure out better ways of managing that, and we can improve our lives. That's why. So even though I might be a little embarrassed about sharing the weaknesses that I have, and yes, I think of them as weaknesses, and even though I realize that so many people in this world are dealing with so many more serious things. I'm not a refugee from Ukraine. I'm not in Gaza or Israel. I'm not, dealing with hunger, in Africa. I'm not, and I'm there's just so many things going on. There's so many distress, there's so many complications, so many issues that people are dealing with. There's so much more severe with this than what I'm going through. I understand that. And I never mean to put my problems ahead of those. What I'm trying to get across is that for some of us, those of us who don't process anxiety, stress, the triggers of the world very well, some of these things may be difficult for us. It's hard for us to turn off our brains. And that's me. I would love to have that off switch. I would love to have that off switch. I haven't found that one yet. I found a dimmer. I have found a dimmer. And I like this analogy. I might go with this. I just suddenly thought of it, but I might go with this. That's what this podcast's about. It's finding that dimmer. We can turn down things a little bit. Can't turn them off. We never should turn off anxiety. We need anxiety in a limited capacity. We need normal anxiety. But for those who can't turn our heads off and can't get away from that looping cycle of insanity that drives us so crazy, maybe we can find a way to turn it down a bit. That would be okay. That would be cool. So I'm leaving those in. If you want to go check them out, they're like episode 6, I think 8, 9, 11 kind of is my emotional release after all this stuff pent up. Feel free to go back and check them out. I'm keeping them on there, and hit me with your best shot. I don't mind. Go ahead and comment and tell me how weak I am and how childlike or childish I am or whatever. It's okay, because at those times I probably was. But it was what I was going through at the time. And that's what I wanted to share. And that's the truth of my life and the truth of many others' lives and what we deal with. And that's why I'm leaving it in. We'll see what happens. Take care. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Hey, this is Dee. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out our podcast. I do need to remind everyone that this podcast is for informational purposes only and should never be considered medical, psychological, or professional health advice of any kind. If you or someone you know is dealing with significant mental health issues, please seek professional help. Resources can be found in our show notes and on our website at unevenpodcast.com. Take care of yourself, and I'll catch you on the flip side.